Good morning, SKN. I'm Jamie Morris.
And I am Kortensia.
We are going to take a very brief look at the weather. So it's going to be breezy with a partly cloudy, breezy. What's in my tea? That's what's in the cup. It's going to be breezy and partly cloudy with a 40% or moderate chance of brief passing showers, a high of 84 and a low of 73 degrees Fahrenheit. And by the way, you can take a look. You wanted to know what's in the cup, right?
And I got a good look. I got a great look.
Oh, boy. Oh, you guys.
Happy birthday to Jamie. It's his birthday, y'all. It is his birthday. So how are you feeling today?
Thank you. I am feeling my age.
Really?
You get older, you know, we talk about growing pains. I think they're aging pains, or they're signs of aging. Yeah, so suffice it to say, it's good to be alive, though. So thank you.
You are certainly welcome. We begin this morning with the local news. This from the SKNIS. Minister of Agriculture, the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, said women currently make great contributions to the agriculture sector within the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis during his presentation at the annual Department of Agriculture's Advancing Women in Agriculture Forum held at at the Agricultural Conference Room on March 8th. The minister stated that women's roles vary considerably and are changing rapidly where economic and social forces are transforming the agricultural sector. Minister Jeffers continued, and I quote, "I would say to you, a better representation of women in agriculture means more than just an increase in the food produced on women-owned farms or women-owned businesses. Women's representation means for the expansion and opportunities for today's women to access resources and support for them to grow their operation and will help to ensure that we achieve or attain food security." End quote. The Honorable Minister added, at Tuesday's discussion on advancing women in agriculture explicitly recognizes the centrality of women to the sustainability of the sector and our community, making them important contributors to food production and preservation. End quote.
That's a really good story.
I'm happy to hear women are getting into everything, I should say now. I don't want to say dominate, but getting into everything. Yeah.
Hey, there's enough for us to go around, even playing field. All right, we're moving on to the second story from the Nevis Island administration by way of press release. A group of young professional women on Nevis are being lauded for launching a non-profit resource center for underprivileged women to provide free legal advice and other forms of support. During the launch ceremony held on March 7th, 2022, the eve of International Women's Day, the Honorable Hazel Brandy Williams, Junior Minister of Health and Gender Affairs in the Nevis Island Administration, NIA, praised the women for the timely initiative. The Honorable Hazel Brandy Williams said, quote, "Sis Inc., I am indeed very proud of those persons who would have found it possible to come up with this idea, an excellent idea at a time like this, when we need this sort of assistance and this sort of sisterhood. One of the things that we have seen raising its ugly head is the level of domestic violence that is growing rampant in our country, and there is little or no assistance for the victims, women and girls, especially for those who do not have the financial resources," end quote. The minister also commended the organization for providing mentorship for young women, including those seeking employment, applying to colleges, or applying for scholarships. She said, quote, "Our girls need persons who they can emulate. Some are from troubled homes, and so to have somebody to mentor them as to how they ought to live and lead productive lives is necessary." Another great story.
Yeah,
indeed.
We need the mentorship. So we have to step forward and do what's necessary.
You're doing one that I like.
We continue now with our third local story, this from Win Media. The St. Kitts and Nevis Robotic Association, the SKNRA, has announced the St. Kitts Nevis National Robotics Challenge slated for early April 2022. Representatives of the Robotic Association sat down with Jay Johnson and Azim Bailey on Tuesday, March 8th edition of Island Tea to discuss the upcoming event. Sanjeev Sharish, Innovative and Technology Coordinator with the St. Kitts and Nevis Robotic Association, said, and I quote, "We do have some amazing news coming out. First and foremost is that the last time we were here, we did mention that we will have a national robotics competition, and we also discussed the previous marine drone competition. And we're glad to announce that the National Robotics Competition is official and it is scheduled to take place in early April." Dr. Ricardo Neal, president of the St. Kitts Nevis Robotic Association, shared the purpose of the competition. He said, and I quote, "The whole objective of it is to see if we can get the young people involved in engineering, so not just to make it a selective group, but right across the board. So we have that competition coming up," end quote. Neil added that the Robotics Association seeks to have about 18 teams participating in the competition, including all the high schools throughout St. Kitts and Nevis, youth groups, all-female groups, etc., guided by criteria. So the way that it is designed is that we will be having about a 4-day challenge where we give each team a robotics kit, and their job is to build a robot to fit it. To fit into a certain criteria that we are actually going to give them, end quote.
Told you got a good story.
Robotics. And ladies are getting into it. So I do see the biases being broken and gender equality is happening.
Love the linkages.
Yeah.
Love the linkages you're making.
Yeah.
Well, how about this one? We have another linkage to make to the other side of the show when we come back from this break.
And to celebrate Jamie's birthday some more, so stick and stay with us.
Consuming excess salt can lead to heart attack, high blood pressure, and even stroke, and other health-related conditions such as kidney disease.
When growing your savings, where you save matters more than you think. Dare to compare and see for yourself why you should start saving and investing at First Federal Credit Union. You don't have to settle for cents. Let your money make sense. Reap a higher return by stashing your cash in a high-yield savings account or term deposit and earn up to 4% interest on your money. At First Federal, we say yes.
You are watching Good Morning SKN. We now move on to the latest in regional news. Barbados PM defends country's oil and gas exploration. This from WIN FM. Prime Minister Mia Mottley has defended Barbados' plans to resume fossil fuel exploration off its coast, saying that developing nations deserve equity and needed the revenue from oil and gas sales to finance the shift to clean energy. Net zero emissions doesn't mean zero fossil fuels, though all of us agree that there has to be a significant decline in production, said Mottley, speaking at a Financial Times climate conference on Tuesday. Developing countries needed, quote, a way to finance our route to net zero. And if the wealthy nations that caused the problems would not provide funding, they would need to find other ways to generate revenue, such as exporting fossil fuels, she said, according to the Financial Times. The Barbadian leader insisted there has to be equity. Mottley delivered a rousing speech at last year's COP26 International Climate Summit in Glasgow, at which she told wealthy countries to try harder to tackle global warming, which would be a death sentence for island nations if temperatures continue to climb.
Yeah.
There you go with another strong woman.
I know. Oh, well. We continue with our final story here on the international scene. Australia PM declares East Coast floods a national emergency. This from Al Jazeera. Australia has declared devastating flooding along its East Coast a national emergency as Prime Minister Scott Morrison faced protests during his visit to the heart of the disaster zone. The emergency declaration, which was set up after Australia's destructive 2019 bushfires, will help cut red tape and speed up aid amid criticism about a slow response to the floods in which at least 21 people have died. Demonstrators demanded more help and stronger climate action as Morrison toured the flood-wrecked city of Lismore, which endured some of the worst flooding in a near 2-week deluge along the East Coast. Protesters chanted, "We need help," while holding placards with messages blaming the climate crisis, including, and I quote, "coal and gas did this, and this is what climate change looks like," end quote. Television footage shows some people gathered in front of an emergency operations center that Morrison visited yelling, and I quote, "The water is rising, no more compromising," and fossil fuel floods. Floodwaters across much of the East Coast retreated as rainfall eased on Wednesday, but major flood warnings were still in force in some areas, including the Hawkesbury River west of Sydney, the country's largest city and the capital of New South Wales state.
Well, devastating news there.
My heart goes out to them.
Big.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. That is the latest for today in news. And once again, we are still celebrating Jamie's birthday, so stick and stay, and we'll see you on the other side of these commercials. Happy birthday, Jamie!
I wear a mask because I want to protect my child, but also I want to protect his classmates and his teachers.
I wear a mask because I care about the frontline workers who will have to work even harder if those around me get sick.
I wear a mask to protect my family. I wear a mask to protect you. I wear a mask because it is the right thing to do.
I wear a mask because I don't want to put any vulnerable individuals at risk, like my elderly loved ones.
I wear a mask because
we are all in this together.
Did you know that there are certain seasonings that contain more salt than you actually need? There are more natural, healthier ways to reduce the salt intake in your dishes by using natural things like onions, garlic, seasoned peppers, and even thyme and merengue powder.
going out tonight. I got a hot date. He older than me, but I don't care. I like what he telling me. He say I look sweet and ting. What? You want me go home with him? Nice. Boy, I wonder if I'm ready for this. I notice he ain't got a condom, but I gonna go ahead, see? He might think me ain't like him or trust him. Plus, this my first time. Nothing gonna happen to me. Lord, how could I let this happen? I ain't ready for no child. Who gonna support me and my child? My man gone jail and mommy and daddy said they ain't gonna help. I all on my own. How could I be so careless? I wish I could go back to that now. But my education on hold. How could I let this happen? Don't let this happen to you. Contact the Department of Gender Affairs to find out about confidential offices and personnel available to answer questions about your sexuality or pre- or postnatal concerns.
This message was brought to you by Project Viola through the Department of Gender Affairs with support from the Basic Needs Trust Fund and the Caribbean Development Bank.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. Lake Health and Wellbeing is a public health non-governmental organization based right here in St. Kitts. Their mission is to improve the health and well-being of communities locally, regionally, and online. They achieve this by leading advocacy, implementing projects, and executing campaigns through collaboration and partnerships. Today, we are joined by Iceline Phillips, Advocacy and Research Officer at Lake Health and Wellbeing, to tell us about this organization. Welcome, Iceline.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Indeed. Now, the first thing that I noticed about you, apart from, recognizing you from before, is that shirt and what it signifies. And so it leads its way into our talking about the campaign that shirt signifies.
Yes, absolutely. So, of course, I'm here, repping Your Sweet Enough. So Your Sweet Enough is actually a public health education campaign that is being led by Lake Health and Wellbeing. And the objective of this campaign is really developed and designed to inform and educate the public about the dangers of consuming sugary beverages as one of the leading causes of, contributing to the risk factors of non-communicable diseases. So we're really trying to educate persons, let persons know about the dangers of consuming these beverages and how it's bad for our diets and bad for our health, so that we can, the idea is to help shift food culture and create healthier food environments. So we're campaigning and trying to inform the public, as well as working with the Ministry of Health to develop policies around these issues currently.
Well, I've got to say, the talking bottle does the trick.
You've seen some of our animations, yes. So part of the campaign, we've been doing quite a few activities. So we have a lot of digital advocacy. So we have quite a few animations that try to engage the public in different ages. Also billboards around. We also do a virtual series. So we kind of try to connect with experts and individuals to talk about different issues around, the dangers of sugar, about different policy initiatives. And so I think we've been doing a lot of work. I feel exhausted. So I think the campaign's been going well. It launched last year in March on World Water Day, and it's actually wrapping up, coming to an end right now. It's been a year-long campaign. So
Okay, was tackling childhood obesity webinar of World Obesity Day a part of your Sweet Enough campaign?
Yes, so it was connected to that. So yes, we recently held a webinar that was on Saturday, Saturday past, because World Obesity Day was the day before, on the 4th. And so part of the problems is that we are seeing higher and higher rates of childhood obesity. And just a quick stat for persons when it comes to consuming sugary drinks, and St. Kitts and Nevis, I think it's the Global Health Secondary School Survey, had found that 62% of students, school-age children, are actually consuming at least one sugary beverage every day. Now, this is concerning because sugary drinks actually have zero nutritional value, and they just contribute to things like diabetes, cavities, different forms of cancers. And so our childhood obesity rate currently is like 1 in 3 children is considered to be either overweight or obese. And that's in St. Kitts. And so that's settling, because then these are children who eventually grow up to be adults and then have these chronic illnesses like diabetes, stroke, different forms of cancers, hypertension. And so we had this webinar, and it was, pretty informative. We had persons and organizations like the Diabetes Association represented. And so we just kind of gave information about what's happening around that area.
All right, we'll continue the conversation in a moment, everyone. Stay tuned.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
We do apologize. We had a bit of technical difficulty. Thank you for staying with us. As we continue with Iseline Phillip, you are also involved in Sweet Talk, your healthy drink series. Give us some insight into this.
Sure. So Sweet Talk is, as you know, is part of our one of the activities around the campaign. And essentially, I sit down with different persons. So we've had episodes with the NCD coordinator with the Ministry of Health, and we've talked about different policies that the Ministry of Health is looking at implementing around reducing the consumption of sugary drinks. We've also connected with Davina Baptiste, who works in kind of women's health, and talked about the connections between consuming sugary drinks and women's health and women's reproductive health. That's been interesting. We've also had a nutritionist from the Ministry of Health talk to us about why water is important, because that's part of the campaign. We're trying to get persons to choose water instead of sugary drinks. We've also we've connected with our partners regionally from the Healthy Caribbean Coalition, to talk about just broadly the challenges that we all face as a region around non-communicable diseases. And so we've had quite a few episodes so far, and they're essentially designed to kind of give information and get people thinking about the topic in different ways. So that's been pretty interesting and ongoing as part of the campaign.
Sorry.
I just love how sweet is used in everything, like sweet talk. You expect sweet talk to be in a relationship. You're sweet enough. I just love how the word sweet is used.
Yeah. Which I mean, and that's, that's our tagline, you're sweet enough. And we have a jingle. I'm hoping that everybody's heard the jingle. So that jingle, the jingle was sang by De Jour, and it's pretty central to the campaign because it has all the messages where we're essentially telling people to drink some water, share some love, and tell your body that you're sweet enough. No need for the sweet drinks. So that's actually recognizable for folks. We have it on the radio. You've probably heard it and your subconscious knows it.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Like I said, when you came in, I was like that.
So I'd love to hear it because, we're actually trying to assess, the impact, and it seems to be it's connected with people, which is really what we really wanted.
I can imagine the work that you do is going to require a cultural shift because coming from St. Kitts and Nevis, sugar was in everything. Sugar was our industry. Sugar was the go-to. So.
Absolutely. Our palates are so used to it, and sugar as itself, it's actually an addictive substance. So. It is a huge culture shift, and that's essentially what we're trying to do. We're trying to change and shift our relationship with food. So part of the education is getting people to really think about, how much sugar that they're consuming when they drink these beverages. So part of what I do, I go out to different community centers, different groups to give presentations around the topic and give that information, so people are empowered to be able to say, oh wow, there's so much sugar in this drink. Maybe, it's better for me to drink something else, because it's really about, preserving public health, which is something that we need to do.
Yeah, I'm sweet enough.
Of course. You are. Absolutely.
That's a great tagline, by the way.
It is, right?
All right, so Lake Health and Wellbeing is hosting a health advocacy workshop on the topic Strengthening Civil Society's Role. Who does this workshop cater to, and when will it take place?
Sure. So part of what we're doing, so it was actually a 2-part webinar series, and we had the first part in February. The next one is scheduled for March 25th, and it is a webinar, so it will be online. Registration is open to any persons or representatives from civil society organizations in St. Kitts or as well regionally. The last one was well attended. We had representation from different places across the region and the world. And it's really essentially what we're trying to do is build advocacy around health policy development. And so we're really trying to, we have speakers from different places that have been successful with lobbying government to implement different public health policies. And we're really trying to give that information and share the information to help build capacity for organizations and associations so that they know things like how to develop an advocacy campaign that's, similarly successful, how to connect and do research, how to monitor campaigns. So these are some of the topics. And then because we're focusing and thinking about things like sugar-sweetened beverage policies, we have one of our colleagues or partners in another jurisdiction in Nigeria where they actually recently got government to approve a tax on sugary drinks. And so just to get their experience of advocating around that and some of the challenges. So it's really a space for any civil society organization to join and, just kind of hear, best practices and kind of be motivated to continue doing this work because it's tiring and, the rewards aren't always immediately seen, but it's important work. Like I said, it's in the interest of public health and wellness.
Absolutely correct. And it's important work indeed. You are touching in a lot of areas that we're going to get to when we come back, hopefully, because when you talk about that cultural shift, when you talk about the economy and the fact that there are businesses who might potentially be facing taxes just because it's unhealthy to use these beverages are all things that we want to talk to. So we'll be back in a moment, everyone. Stay tuned.
Salt is an important part of the human diet, but most of us consume more than we realize.
Hey, my friend, what going on?
Not a thing. I just here cooling under this tree, about to eat a mango or two.
Where you get mango from all now?
Boy, Auntie Rose bring me some mango this morning.
Oh, gosh. What you hit me for?
You give me something to put on?
Girl, you can't just come tempting me with these juicy round pally mangoes and expect me not to want some.
Just because something looks appealing and you want it doesn't mean you are entitled to it and that you should touch or take it. Your mother ain't teach you manners. Ask for consent first before you touch up the mango them.
But why ask? And if it's dear, it's dear. Just take it. Why ask?
Simple. If it is mine and you ain't asked for it, it is called, wait for it, stealing.
That's true. My bad. Okay. May I please have some mangoes?
I don't know. After that spectacle, I ain't sure I want to give you any.
You see that? But I ask.
Just because you ask doesn't mean I have to give. It is still my mangoes.
So what you tell me ask for then?
Because consent is everything. Had you asked first, I would have been more inclined to give you one. And just because you ask doesn't mean I have to give you. You got it?
Okay, I got it. Now, may I please have some mangoes?
Only because you're my friend and I like you. But that still don't mean you're entitled to it.
Okay, I get it. I get it.
Good. Don't leave your mango skin on the ground, eh?
If you understand the importance of asking for someone's consent for a mango, then it shouldn't be too hard to understand consent when it comes to sex. The power of consent is everything. Ask first. If you or a friend has been sexually assaulted, please call 465-5000 for the Counseling Center.
This message was brought to you by No Judgment SKN and sponsored by the Basic Needs Trust Fund, the Department of Gender Affairs, and the Caribbean Development Bank.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. We continue with Iceline Phillip, Advocacy and Research Officer at Lake Health and Wellbeing. We're going back to that Sweet Enough campaign.
Yes.
And I have to tell you, when I saw it, my gut reaction was, okay, this is a great campaign, but I can imagine that some of the major companies here, not saying that they have been, but it kind of puts you at odds in my mind economically, because we have companies that are pushing sweet, sugary beverages. And then here is this wonderful campaign that says, you know what, toss it, drink water. So is there any truth to that at all? Has there been any sort of opposition, or do you anticipate some sort of angst from big business?
Of course. So, one of the things that part of the advocacy around this is, we are obviously telling persons to not purchase sugary drinks, and, policy initiatives would be something like placing a consumer tax on these sugary beverages. And of course, industry would be the biggest opposition to that. And we've seen that in other places that are, progressive in their advocacy around particularly implementing an SSB tax. Places like Barbados and Jamaica, where industry is even louder than particularly here in St. Kitts. And so, we do expect that. However, one of the things, we're not actually trying to, remove someone's bottom line or take work away from persons, because I think, what we're talking about here, I think we need to recognize is that we're talking about public health. The statistics for St. Kitts and Nevis is, 83% of all deaths are attributed to a preventable non-communicable disease. And so when we're talking about trying to shift food culture, industry has an option of, instead of being combative or instead of being, in opposition, they can be more cooperative and collaborative in the sense of, okay, what are ways that we can maybe reformulate our products and put less sugar, and make them with less sugar, or, make healthier products. And, that's an opportunity for market development in terms of healthy food and snacks, especially when it comes to our children. And so, one of the things that we also are advocating for government to do is creating healthy school environments, which would particularly ban or restrict the sale of these drinks in and around schools. And of course, we've had, what about the vendors? And of course, we're not trying to take away anybody's micro business. But, there is precedent set, like in Barbados, where they've implemented a pilot of, this type of policy, and they actually worked with the vendors, who I believe are equally concerned, because our vendors are grandmothers, their aunts, and they see that the children are just packing up on these sweets and these drinks. And so I think if we take a collaborative approach where we workshop with the vendors to say, okay, how about we produce healthy snacks and, do fruits, or we do local drinks that have limited sugar in them. When we do that education and try to support them in their work to be able to shift that culture, I think it's possible for it to get done. It doesn't have to be antagonistic because, like I said, public health should be everybody's business, and we're all about improving the health and well-being, because at the end of the day, as a federation, it leads back to our sustainable development. If we don't have people who are healthy enough to be productive, it will hit our bottom line in terms of GDP and what we are able to accomplish as a country and as a region.
Indeed. So your organization's vision is to create stronger communities through good health. How do you accomplish this?
Of course, so we do this in a number of different ways. So of course we execute campaigns like You're Sweet Enough. We do different projects, and it's holistic health. So non-communicable diseases is a particular focus for this campaign. However, we've done other things around women's reproductive health. We do quite a bit of research because research is extremely important in terms of being able to develop evidence-based policies for health. And so we carry out different research projects. Most recently, we did do a project on the impacts of COVID-19 of persons living with NCDs, just because in the context of COVID, persons living in NCDs were particularly more vulnerable in different ways. And so just trying to understand that so that we could make different recommendations to particular disaster management processes. So in the event of another pandemic, how can we better support persons? And so we've done research around fibroids in terms of women's health. And understanding those experiences of women in St. Kitts and Nevis. And, one thing that's very important is that it's local research. So we always have a challenge with finding data locally and regionally. And so we're really big on doing research. And of course, we collaborate and do partnerships. So Ministry of Health is our main collaborator since we're a public health NGO. And we have a very strong relationship with the Ministry of Health. Also the Ministry of Education. We've done quite a bit of work with the Ministry of Education, and we're trying to see how we can do more projects and collaborate with different departments and ministries in the work that we do. So the approach is multidimensional.
It is indeed.
I love the fact that you're doing research. It's research-based driven work that you do.
Of course.
No wonder you're exhausted.
Yes, a lot of research.
And we're a society and culture where people they don't like researchers very much. They like to answer questions as often. Sometimes we have quite a bit of challenge with getting persons to participate in research, but it's necessary. We need to know what to understand, and that's essentially what research is, right?
I was just thinking what was once private in society, what they hid now, it's coming to light. So I'm wondering how persons feel about privacy being violated, should I say?
I think that's a natural concern for persons, especially when we put calls out to ask persons to volunteer to participate. It's like, people have this thing, it's like, oh, I'm gonna share my news and not even gonna be on the streets, but of course we're a professional organization and we follow research ethics. And we have to get ethics approval and all of those things, and so there is a process that we follow, and it's always anonymous in terms of the data. We're really just trying to get the information so that we can understand the problems in order to develop and identify solutions. All of those solutions.
All right. Well, where can we find out more about Lake Health and Wellbeing?
Well, we are on social media, so you can find out our website. We have a website, and on there you can find out more about our different projects. So website is lakehealthandwellbeing.com. You can also find and follow us on all social media platforms. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We are on those platforms at Lake Health and Wellbeing. You can also find out more about the campaign, You're Sweet Enough. We have a campaign website. It's www.youaresweetenough.com. So just remember, youaresweetenough.com. And on there, you can find, things like the virtual drinking series, all those episodes. You can see what we've been up to. We post regularly. It's a very active site. And you can also learn something new. So find us anywhere online. Just type in Lake Health and Wellbeing in St. Kitts, and you'll definitely find us.
That's good. I'm going to find you. I'm going to toss my water bottle. I'm sweet enough.
Yes.
Isn't that right?
Toss your water bottle or toss
your drinks. Yes.
Oops.
You keep the water bottle.
Keep the water bottle. I got reprimanded on television. Here we go. I'll
Don't
keep
let
the water
age
bottle.
bother you.
You see what she's doing here. Celine, thank you so very much for coming and sharing this wealth of information with us.
It was very informative.
Yes. Thank you for the opportunity.
I could talk to you for an hour. That's a hint.
Listen, I can do that too. Got a lot to say.
Indeed, and it's a lot of important information. So thanks again, and I'm going to pick my water bottle up now as we go to the break. Stay tuned, everyone.
Happy birthday.
Everyone is encouraged to adopt a healthy and positive approach to daily life. Here are a few friendly reminders.
When you go to the local market and food vendors, remember to maintain a social distance of 6 feet or 2 meters apart. And always wear your mask.
Always keep your hands clean. Wash your hands with soap and water or use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer.
When dining, choose restaurants with staggered seating. This will lower the risk of transmission.
If you have a fever, cough, or other respiratory symptoms, please wear a mask and seek medical care immediately. Rest at home and do not visit the food vendors, local markets, or restaurants.
As a hypertensive patient, in my home, I reduce salt intake by not adding salt during the preparation of my food, not having a salt shaker on my table, limiting the consumption of salty snacks, and choosing products with low sodium content. That's why I am salt smart.
You ever hear Earthquake call and say, "Hello, Miss Lee, yes, it's me, Earthquake, I coming Tuesday around 10? No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced, and when it come, it shake all sense and sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Once the shaking starts, you know it's earthquake. Make a quick move to a safe place. Don't run to the door, we are in the exit. Stairs might block up or full of people. Elevator, avoid that, because you might get in and poof, power gone, and you're stuck in that box without ear. Take cover under a strong table or a bed, or crouch against an inside wall or in a corner, and cover your face and your head with your arms. Remember, DCH, drop, cover, hold on. Glass windows and doors, outside walls and doors in an earthquake, bad news. Take care of yourself. Most injuries during earthquakes happen when something drop and hit people entering or exiting a building. Last thing, don't want to run outside and ask, you feel it, you feel it? Remain calm, stay indoors until all the shaking stop, and do the DCH, drop, cover, hold on.
Has anyone ever touched you here, here, or here? Well, these are actually bad touches, not good ones. And so, if anyone ever touches you in these areas or anywhere else that makes you uncomfortable, you must say no, then go and tell. Say it with me. Say no, then go and tell.
This message was brought to you by the Department of Gender Affairs in collaboration with Probation and Child Protection Services, the Ministry of Health, and the Pan American Health Organization.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. Graphic design is the craft of planning and creating visual content to communicate ideas and messages. Graphic design is everywhere. Look from billboards to cereal boxes to mobile apps. Through incorporating different elements and principles, these designs can influence our perception and emotion. BRAP, Classic Clothing, is a local clothing brand owned by Jadelle Prentice. BRAP started as a graphic label, producing designs for its clients, but has now evolved into so much more. Today, we warmly welcome Jadelle to Good Morning SKN Expressions to learn more about his business. Good morning, Jadelle.
Good morning,
welcome.
Good morning, good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, so we're going to get right into it. We want to know, where did the name BRAP come from and what does it mean?
Well, that's a really funny story. It's a really funny story. So basically, BRAP came about when I was by somebody I consider as a brother. What basically, man, he's the reason I really got into graphic design. Because one day, he had Photoshop open and was like, go ahead, do something.
Nice.
I just type in a word and then that was it, because I didn't know me no else to from you.
Okay.
But then from that, BRAP is really a bike too. He is into bikes and motorbikes. That's his thing from since I used to from him born. That's all he's talking about, bikes.
Okay.
So I used to hear him say the term all the time, the slang all the time, and from my head I was like BRAP, 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 BRAP. That's all I say over and over and over and over. And the acronym Be Authentic and Positive came out. It just clicked. It wasn't nothing I thought about too much. It was nothing that I had to put much thought into. It was just like Be Authentic and Positive, because that's always just what I stand on. Because with him, he always encouraged me to always be myself, be different, be just stand out. One thing he always said, always stuck with me is that, because I always tell my mom I be like him when I go, he always tell me don't ever say that in life. Don't ever teach anybody that, don't ever push that mindset, that ideology onto anybody else. Always teach them to always be different. Forge your own path. Don't walk in his path. Make my own path so I could teach somebody else also to make their own path as well. Knowledge is always transferred. Don't keep it to yourself. So that was it all. That's basically the whole story in a nutshell.
Okay.
So it's not just BRAP.
Exactly.
I love it. Real, authentic, and positive.
And positive, yeah.
I remember that. So tell us about the products that you create.
Well, okay. Locally, for now, I just doing t-shirts. For now, this is one of the t-shirts.
I noticed. I'm looking at it.
This was the
breast cancer
one for last year. It was the last year one. And the back in Marcan, we will fight. No, wait. Together we can fight. Together we will win.
Okay.
And the whole breast cancer thing is a whole other story too. But yeah, this was one of the designs. And locally, I just doing t-shirts for now. I have a store online, BRAP Classic Clothing. That's US based, where you can sell shirts, sweaters, hoodies, mugs, pillows, the whole lot. Getting into other things eventually in the future. Hoping to try to bring them in locally as well, so I could sell them and do a base front here. So, but for now, locally, just t-shirts.
I like that one.
So your audience then, the bulk of your consumers are overseas?
I understand that I'm gonna have clients overseas. So I really wanted to do a more base over there. And at the same time, it's gonna be kind of easier in a sense. I wanted to branch off. I don't want BRAP to just be in St. Kitts. I want it to be worldwide. You see everybody wearing Nike. You see everybody wearing Adidas.
Ooh.
Somebody gonna wear BRAP.
I
want everybody wearing BRAP. And that's my goal in life. That's the goal. That's the end goal for BRAP. Everybody gonna be. Your mother gonna be talking about it. Your father gonna be talking about it. Your children gonna be talking. Everybody gonna be talking about it. That's the goal.
Lovely.
I can see why you want to go into more than t-shirts for now. So what's the end goal? Like
end goal?
Yeah. Any more products that you haven't touched yet that you think you're going to touch eventually?
Yeah, for sure, but can't.
Oh boy, no secret. I always try to get the secrets. I never get them.
can't later. But I could, which I put it a little bit shoes.
Okay.
Customizing shoes and what's up. I'm gonna pair it now.
Whoa. Okay. No, we're gonna have to get shots of that. That's nice.
Yeah. Don't mind the look. Can I beat up these? I do these from the first time. These were the first things I do.
Yeah.
So
you might. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so is there anything in particular that inspires your designs?
Anything in particular?
Yeah.
Mine, I have one, I can't shut up my mind.
Oh, wow.
My mind is always racing, always thinking of ways, ideas, always thinking something. I would think it's a blessing from God, but sometimes I would think it's a curse because it just never
never quiets.
Off. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But at the same time, with inspiration is like, I got days where I have inspiration off the top of my head. I have days, I have months, I would go dry. Nothing to think about, no ideas, no design, nothing at all. Just me and my thoughts. And nothing coming out of these. I would sit down like for hours on a blank screen and nothing coming. And I won't force a design out of me because recently, the more recent time, the older I go and the more mature, every design I do had a reason behind it. Because me designing the reason behind this whole thing is fighting breast cancer. My aunt fought breast cancer and she beat it.
Oh, good stuff.
And because of her, every year from that day, 3 years ago, up to now, and moving forward, I always do something for breast cancer. Because of that. And I'm going to branch off into other form of diseases. I have asthma.
Okay.
We all struggle with mental health.
Yeah.
We all go through something. So why not show the what my thoughts, my ideas on them and put somewhere. If I could put it on a shirt, I could put it on a shirt. If I could put it on a graphic, I could put it on a graphic. I want to put it somewhere. Just a way of putting what's in my head outside. Showing, projecting my ideas on something.
I love that. It's like the world is your canvas.
Basically. Basically. Because I want to get into painting too. I want to get into everything. But now I'm getting into drawing. I got a pad home and I invested in my pad and getting into drawing. I think I want 2 drawings. They're maybe the best drawing, but wherever I think up, I could draw.
It's great. Definitely original stuff coming from you then.
Yeah. So how do you manage to constantly mix it up?
How do I manage it? To be honest, me never manage it yet. I learn as I go.
Okay, good stuff.
Every day I learn something new.
Awesome.
I swear every day, every single day I learn something new. And me learning something every day is just happy for it, to be honest. Because you get older every moment. Every moment you live, you're older.
Yeah.
Every moment you live, you learn something. Every moment you live, you gain some kind of knowledge. And me gaining knowledge every time as I go, it just feel better for me. I like to learn from my mistakes. So the more mistakes I make in life, the more I'm going to learn from them to not do them again. And if I could try to help somebody prevent from making a mistake, I'll do it too.
So let's talk about that, if you can. This is something for you to think about as we go into the break. In terms of the mistakes that you might have made as a young entrepreneur, what have you done to, correct those mistakes, and how has that helped your business improve?
New question.
I'm going to give you some time to think about it. We'll be back in a moment, everyone. Stay tuned.
If you gradually use less salt, you will gradually want less salt. Eating less salty foods will reduce your cravings for salty foods. Let's get salt smart.
These teen boys nowadays get me so upset. I see these teen girls with their big bellies and you want to tell me y'all couldn't protect her and yourself? Come on. Now don't tell me no stupidness about you feel embarrassed about getting a pack of condoms or asking somebody for one. That ain't nothing to be ashamed about. You should be proud that you are making a wise decision, but you still have to abstain from having sex with someone under the age of consent. If your boys are pressuring you to have sex and you don't want to, then don't. You are in charge of your life, not them. I heard another one saying it's sweeter without a condom. But my granny always told me, no glove, no love. So let me tell you something. It's sweeter to have money in your pockets and not have to support a child at that young age. Before I say anything else, the best way to prevent teenage pregnancy is to abstain. In other words, no do it. Let me talk to the big men troubling underage girls.
Why you sleeping with your daughter? You not live clean. Your girl at 16 and your daughter at 13. So girl a look me, but me no in a that. Big man no deal with back pamba.
You understand where I'm coming from, right?
This message was brought to you by Project Viola through the Department of Gender Affairs with support from the Basic Needs Trust Fund and the Caribbean Development Bank.
Where are you going? I just mopped the floor and now the chair leaving marks all over the place. Come on, go in bed, see? Sometimes I just can't take you on.
Violence is expressed in many ways. Most, unfortunately, go unreported or unaddressed for many reasons. If you or someone disabled is being abused, contact the police at 465-2241, social services at 467-1314, or the St. Kitts Nevis Association of Disabled Persons at 465-2151, 663-9077, or 663-4116. This message was brought to you by the Department of Gender Affairs in collaboration with the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. We continue with Janelle Prentice, the owner of BRAP Classic Clothing. All right, so before the break, Janelle, I asked you to consider what your biggest mistake was as an entrepreneur and what you've learned from it to help you to get to the point where you are now.
Shocked. Honestly, the biggest mistake I did starting out was giving up in the beginning, not being consistent, not pushing myself as hard as I'm pushing myself right now. Because when I first started out, there was a lot of doubt in myself, a lot of doubt with people at home, a lot of not as much support as I would have liked starting out doing something like this. Because starting out my business, I had $0 in pocket. I started doing promoting shirts with $0 in pocket. I started doing this whole thing with nothing. And the first profit I made off of it, I tell you now, I could tell you the exact amount of shirts I sold and the profit I made. I sold 10 shirts, and those 10 was to people who was around me. And from those 10 shirts, I made $100 profit. And, you know, I do that same $100 profit, went right back in the business. I spend nothing, no take that $100, I went right back into investing back in myself and just to push forward. But then starting out on the high off of it is like, I had a lot of challenges out of it. Basically, my laptop that I had, my old laptop that I had, kept crashing. It had a time it crashed to the point where I had a blue screen and I lose all my designs. Over 100 and something designs. And from that I was done. I was like, nope. I done with designing. I can't start work over all this process because I lose everything. All my hard work from the start up to that point, I lose everything. It had took me a couple months, to be honest, before I started by designing. All the time last year, all the time just doubting and just was like, what the point anymore? Because if I lose this, what's just in my head. But then something just clicked. It was God. Probably was God, you know. Probably was God. And it clicked, and I just started back over from the beginning. Right now, I think I did triple or quadruple the amount of designs I had then. Probably. Because I got a new laptop now. I wanted the fun thing after my laptop crashed. The first time, it crashed again.
Oh, wow.
It crashed again. Because my laptop was like, was an old model of a Dell laptop I had from my grandmother. She sent it down. And I wasn't even using Photoshop sometimes. I was using other software called GIMP before I went over to Photoshop. I just went over Photoshop this last year. I just went into Photoshop. So all the designs I did before this year, I did a breast cancer design for the first time I did it, and it wasn't even in Photoshop. Just my recent designs I'm doing that wasn't in Photoshop, and nobody knows that, because this is something I talk about. I don't talk about all the bad that go on behind bars, behind closed windows, behind closed doors, because I rather push out the good. As much as I just rather, it's not an image thing. It's not that I'm ashamed or anything else. It's just a matter of I don't like to disappoint people. So I rather fix the bad behind closed doors and come out with the good. Because why would I fix the bad in public? Sure, that is some all kind of thing just going bad, and I could just fix it when I got time by myself, and then just come back out good.
Produce the good.
It speaks to the positivity, which is the key.
You guys positive. Trust me, the amount of negative that used to go on in my head against myself and with it, to say a positive note, that's a good thing. Because
that's a great thing.
Yeah, I was more against the whole abbreviation than how I am now. Because as I said, all that come in maturity and learning. So as I said, the biggest mistake I did, the biggest thing I learned from was just doubting myself.
Okay. So I would have noticed that you became an entrepreneur at the age of 15, and you are also one of the 25 most remarkable teens in St. Kitts. Now, you have led us through the path to what have probably would have gotten you to that point, being one of the 25, but can you tell us how does it feel to be one of them when you were selected?
To be honest, I'm be completely honest with you, because that's just me. I'll just be honest. In the moment when I was receiving the award, I didn't feel any different to how I feel then and how I feel now. Because if I got it or not, and if I would have still be remarkable. I didn't need them to tell me that I was remarkable. To be acknowledged for it, yeah, it felt good. But it didn't change my perspective. I didn't change my angle. It didn't change my perspective. Like, it didn't push me any hard, because I was done pushing myself hard.
Good stuff.
I was done pushing myself beyond my limit to the point I done burned out. So it's like this award didn't push me any further. It gave me a little, okay, keep it up. You're doing good. You get an award for all the hard work you put in. No, but it didn't set any other goals in mind, because as I said, I always think, man, I always had goals. But funny thing is, if they asked me when I was 15 years ago, when I just started, if I would have seen myself and I would have said no, because even before I signed up for it, my cousin told me you prior to that to sign up. I was like, nah. I was like, nah, man, because I don't like spotlight. I don't feel like so I was like, nah. He had to push me. He was, sign up. Entrepreneurship, I was like, you know what? Okay. And then I got through and I was like, what? I was shocked. I wasn't shocked, right? I was like, what? Because I feel like you just got a bunch of other people in the federation that way better than what I do. I watching the week and I was like, wow, this is good. Like, you're better. Like, you're good. And I could actually say that. I ain't got a problem telling people that the work is better than me. Because that's all I come with it. You got to improve somebody. Even if somebody got to be better than you. Yes. That's just what it is. You just got to claim to live and surpass it. And that's my mindset. My mindset, every time I walk in the room, is to be better than the person you're seeing the next to. So that's just what it is. It's not a competitive mindset. It's a mindset to always better myself. Yeah. And I'm going to always live with that. So
I like that. That's good energy. That's good positivity. And that's something that we'll definitely remember. And I'm certain that you're connecting with the viewers right now. We want to know, in terms of BRAP, what is next for BRAP?
What is next?
Or let's rephrase that. If not BRAP, or maybe BRAP and also Jadel.
What's next? To be honest, balance. Trying to figure it all out. Trying just. I got a bunch of goals in mind. I got a lot of things I want to accomplish. I have plans. I have a lot. Right now it's just to find a balance to actually complete all these things. What the saying as well? A goal without a plan is a wish. Yeah, I think is that.
How old are you? Like, seriously.
All right. He's just
all of this
the wisdom.
Right.
Yeah, because all of your learning growing up, I had to mature at a young age because of circumstances. So I just had to, I was put in a position where I had to learn things off my own. And when you learn things off your own, you see things in a different light. And I try to think from other people's perspective. That's just me. So I just feel like, but next thing for BRAP is just to accomplish my goal, the worldwide. I got to start somewhere. That I'm not gonna just jump all the steps and just be like boom, worldwide. No, I got to accomplish smaller steps. For now, it's just for sure. It's for this year breast cancer. For sure, that's gonna be a big thing. That the ideas I have for that, I want it to be bigger than last year. And seeing now that it's like I gain more exposure now, I feel like I got more people now to not disappoint. More people now to. I got more weight on my shoulder now. I'm gonna lift up the weight and just continue. I'm continuing doing what I'm doing.
You
for sure.
Keep doing that. The final question that we have for you is, and you're gonna look into that camera right there. The advice that you can give to anybody who might wanna. I don't want to say follow in your footsteps, because you already said don't be like someone else. But if they want to start a business or they want to pursue their goals, you've got about 30 seconds to do it in that camera. What would you tell them?
I'll tell you two things. Just to start, and when you start, don't give up. Is when you come into this designing game, this entrepreneurship game, you got to be a bigger supporter. The things that the people you thought wouldn't support you are the ones not supporting you. Yeah. The ones you wouldn't think would support you are the ones supporting you. Support come in a lot of ways. Either just reposting what you do, helping you by buying your product, just words of advice, words of wisdom, just make sure you have support. Just make sure you use the biggest support and don't give up on it. Just don't give up.
Yeah.
Trust, do not give up. Don't look at where you're at now, look at your end goal, look at where you want to be. And just always work towards where you want to be in life. Don't ever think about where you've been now, don't think about all the hardship, don't think about all the things that are going to the struggle, just think about where you want to be. And make that there be a motivation and inspiration and make that always push and drive you.
Yeah, good stuff. Jamie, so I think the next generation is in great hands, right?
Listen, I just want to know, finally before we go, online, social media, where do we find you?
Unplug Incorporated, Rap Classic Clothing. Yeah, that's the www.rapclassicclothing.com shop.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you, Jadel. It's been our pleasure to interact with you this morning.
Yeah,
we're going to be monitoring your trajectory because I tell you, the wisdom, we feel it.
I know.
So, it's been a pleasure.
I know.
Stay tuned, everyone. More Good Morning
SKN. Don't go anywhere.
Happy birthday.
Self-health management refers to the measures people take to manage their own health. You and I should remember to wash hands often with soap and water, or use alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Avoid touching your eyes, mouth, and nose. Take your temperature morning and evening. Watch for symptoms. Persons with diabetes or hypertension are reminded to take your medication regularly as prescribed. If you have no symptoms, you may carry out your normal routine and boost your immune system. When you are outside, avoid public spaces and wear a mask at all times. If you develop symptoms, put on a mask and seek medical care. Do not take public transportation. Inform the doctor of your travel history, any contact with confirmed or suspected cases, your occupation, and whether anyone around you has similar symptoms. If you become ill, please rest at home. Wear a mask and isolate yourself from others in your household. If you share a bathroom, disinfect daily using 1 part bleach to 10 parts water. Everyone must work together to reduce the spread of the coronavirus.
Let's face it, most parents or guardians don't want to think about their teens having sex, let alone contemplate the possibility that they might get pregnant or get someone pregnant. Teenage pregnancy is a situation that involves female adolescents. A teenage female can be pregnant as early as age 12 or 13, although it is usually 14 and older. The fact that teenagers become pregnant is related to many factors. Here are some tips to decrease teen pregnancy. Teach teenagers comprehensive sex education. Target messages at teen boys, not just girls. Get the whole community involved. Encourage mentoring, parental involvement, and support. This message was brought to you by Project Viola through the Department of Gender Affairs with support from the Basic Needs Trust Fund and the Caribbean Development Bank.
I'm here to say kids, Nevis, with the name for us I represent for the Ministry of Health. Yeah. Respect the COVID protocols in a time like this. All for one for all. Saying kids, Nevis. Don't forget your mask. Wear it everywhere you go. Sanitize before and after everything you do. Cause you never know what's on the surface of the places you go. Maintain a safe social distance between me and you. Keep calm and stay focused. Don't be a fool, seek the facts first. And boost your immune system up. Don't wanna lose no more of us. Mask up, furlough, sanitize. Observe the protocols all about. Be wise. Mask up, furlough, sanitize. Me family fitting boat.
Blessed love and greetings. This is Infamous, and I am here to encourage every Kititian and Nivision to remember that we have our part to play in the fight against COVID-19. So sanitize, wear your face mask, practice social distancing, and go and get vaccinated. For me no know about you, but me love think it's bad. Easy no man.
Do you know that common baked goods such as bread and crackers are high in salt? Get salt smart.
When growing your savings, where you save matters more than you think. Dare to compare and see for yourself why you should start saving and investing at First Federal Credit Union. You don't have to settle for cents. Let your money make sense. Reap a higher return by stashing your cash in a high-yield savings account or term deposit and earn up to 4% interest on your money. At First Federal, we say yes.
Welcome back to our viewers. Last month, the Nevis Tourism Authority announced its panel of 2022 ambassadors as part of the Destination Tourism Ambassador Program. This program is a partnership formed with a select group of travel tastemakers, influencers, and journalists chosen exclusively for their familiarity with the island. Last week, we featured one of the ambassadors, Nakiva Marie. Now today, we have the absolute pleasure of featuring another one of these ambassadors, Brian Major, who is a Caribbean media expert. Join us as we warmly welcome Brian to Good Morning SKN. Good morning, Brian, and welcome to Good Morning SKN.
Good morning, and thank you for having me today. I'm happy to be here. It's our pleasure.
Welcome. So what was your reaction when you found out that you were selected as one of Nevis' 2022 tourism ambassadors?
My reaction was great surprise. I was really, I was almost stunned by, it was an honor to be thought of that way and to be asked to represent a country. Any country is certainly a country that I have personal ties to and travel to, and it's part of my work. So it was unbelievable. Probably the biggest highlight of my career, really.
Oh.
That's such an honor to have you say that, right? That it's the biggest highlight of your career. When you think about Nevis and the ways, obviously, that you are going to, let's say, quote unquote, sell Nevis, your links to journalism, how do the two fuse to create a story or a narrative that says that Nevis is the great place as a tourism destination?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. Nevis is a tiny island, 36 square miles. And within this small island, there is so much. The way to tell the story in my practice, the way I would do it and the way I try to do it is to be really honest and forthcoming about what Nevis is and what it isn't. You know, you're going to have to most times fly to St. Kitts to access Nevis, but that's part of the adventure and charm. It's a small island, but it has some of the best beaches in the Caribbean, some of the best sunsets. It also has mountains.
Oh, we seem to be having some technical difficulties, Kortensia. Hopefully we get him back really soon. All right, that being said, we will take a brief break and hopefully rectify this problem. See you on the other side of it. Stay tuned.
Most people consume excess salt from processed foods, such as snack foods, processed meats, instant meals, and condiments.
Instead, use fresh vegetables, ground provision, fresh meats, and natural herb seasonings, just like our grandparents did, and just like you did with this soup. We are Salt Smart.
It's been 6 months now and Glenn hasn't been working. His attitude has completely changed and he's been leaving the house every day for hours and liming with his friends and coming home drunk and causing confusion.
Gloria, this is what you cooked today? This is not enough food for a big man like me.
But Glenn, it's been 6 months now. You haven't given me any money to shop for food.
Okay, so what you want me to do if my boss ain't called me out for work as yet?
Look for a different job now.
What you just said to me?
Get a next job.
What?
Help! Let me
Let
go!
go what? Yeah, let's see what we like. Let go what? Watch your mouth with me now.
The weekend mom and dad fight. When are they going to stop?
Domestic violence is not just physical, it's mental, emotional, economical, and psychological. If you, your friend or family member is being abused, you can contact one of the numbers listed below for help. Department of Gender Affairs 662-5492, Special Victims Unit 662-7077, Counseling Unit 465-5000. This message was brought to you by the Department of Gender Affairs in collaboration with the Ministry of Health and the Pan American Health Organization.
Did you know that there are certain seasonings that contain more salt than you actually need? There are more natural, healthier ways to reduce the salt intake in your dishes by using natural things like onions, garlic, seasoned peppers, and even thyme and merengue powder.
All right, so welcome back to Good Morning SKN. We have rectified that little technical glitch and we have Brian Major still on the line with us for today's connections. Brian, of course, is one of the Nevis Tourism Ambassadors of 2022. And Brian, before that break, we were talking about the way that you would write the story, the narrative, so to speak, of Nevis. How would you sell it? Using, of course, your journalism background and as well your ties to the island.
Yeah, Nevis is a destination that doesn't need a lot of hyperbole. You just need to kind of reveal its quality. It's a 36 square mile island that has so much in it. And it's a little hidden. You're going to have to fly to St. Kitts and take a boat over to Nevis, a fast ferry, short trip. It's part of the adventure. And when you're there, you're going to find beautiful beaches, some of the best beaches in the Caribbean, and spacious and intimate and beautiful, with beautiful waters and sand. But it's also mountainous. There's a mountain at the center of Nevis Peak, 3,200-foot mountain with rainforest surrounding it. And the ruins of the rainforest, the ruins of plantations that were located in that area remain, and you can take tours and hiking and horseback and ATV tours there. And there's amazing history and culture, of course, Nevis is tied to American history through Alexander Hamilton, who was born there. It's tied to African and American history through the slave industry and the slave trade, which there are tours that reveal the truths and the conditions that enslaved people, endured there, and the post-slavery story of colonial, post-colonial ownership and development. So it is a rich tableau that almost tells itself. You don't really have to, and from a journalistic standpoint, I just kind of try to reveal what Nevis is, because it really is something very special.
And you have already sold Nevis to the world, in my opinion. So when it comes to Nevis, what is your absolute best place to visit? Because Nevis is also my favorite place to visit.
Wow. Great. Another great question. What is the best place to visit? Okay. I'm going to, you know what? I'm not going to, I'm going to give, I'm going to do this in categories, because it depends on what you like and what you're interested in. So if you're interested in history and culture, just walk through Charlestown, the capital, the colonial capital. It's a small colonial capital. It's not big, but in this district, you're going to find a Jewish cemetery. You're going to find churches that date to the 18th century and include marble floors where people are interred in the floor. Nevis Sun Tours is a great company that provides tours run by Greg Phillip, who is a Novitian. So he provides a great walk through the historic center. You can walk over to the Bath Hotel, which is another 18th century structure that hosted English colonial big shots, let's say, in its day, and is built on top of a natural spring where you can put your feet into it. People bathe in it daily for its healing powers. You can do that on just a casual walk through town. So that's one. And then secondly, Nevis is also really casual. So you should hit a beach bar when you're in Nevis. And the beach bar to be at is Sunshine's. Everybody goes there. It's
you gotta get a killer bee.
You got to get a killer bee, everybody. If you go to Nevis, somehow you wind up at Sunshine before long, and then you crawl back up the beach to your resort. Back to the water. But you had a good time. So, everybody goes there. Sunshine's a friendly guy. You'll see him there from time to time. So it's all good there. And then the last thing I'd say to do in Nevis is to take a tour in the hills. If you're a hiker, do it hiking. If you're a horseback person, you can arrange a horseback tour. If you're like me, you like this new ATV tour that they're doing. There are a couple of providers, Queen City Adventures and the Funky Monkey, two really great companies that provide ATV tours. You drive your own ATV or you ride in the back of one if you want, around the hills and mountains, and they point out hidden spots around the island, and you can see the rest of Nevis from the hills of Nevis Peak. So it's something you should not miss. I mean, you can see the coast, and it's just incredible. There's so much in Nevis. So those are the things. It's hard to say just one, but those are what I'd say.
Yeah.
I know that it's hard indeed. Kortensia is always here saying, I think she's stolen the Vision slogan, Nevis is nice. And I'm going to relegate her to the other side of the waters after today, for certain. But you've definitely been doing a good job of selling Nevis, Brian. So this is another difficult question for you. And this is a personal question, not just about the selling points of Nevis, but for you, when you visit the island, what is the one place that you absolutely have to visit?
Well, since learning about the history of Cottle Church, that is probably the place I have to visit when I'm there. When we travel to the Caribbean, Americans, we love everything everyone else loves about the Caribbean, the beautiful sunshine and, and all of the great pursuits and activities, the opportunity relax and feel, at ease. But also, this is a way for us Americans to connect with the history that we all need to know more about. It's at times it's painful, the history of slavery, but it also lets us know where we came from and how far we need to go. We have many struggles to endure and to continue to fight. So we need to be armed with information. And I love to go to Cottle Church, which was the first church in the Caribbean to allow, the builder was a white planter, John Cottle, but his idea was to allow his enslaved people he enslaves, and his family to worship together. This was a big step, or it was considered a big step at the time. And really, it did lead to the end of slavery in the Caribbean and the English colonial slavery system. So we're going step by step through our history. And I think it's important for us to know our history and not to have it obscured or misrepresented in any way. I like to see the truth. And when you go to Cottle Church, they even have a plaque at the back of this historic church, which is a stone wall building. The roof is not there any longer. It's the remnants of the building, but it's well preserved. And at the back of the wall is a list of the people, the parishioners, including the enslaved people who are designated as such. And then some have last names and some don't. And you can tell the ones who are enslaved and have last names were probably owned or born in the U.S., and the others were Africans who had recently come over. So it's a piece of history that nobody should miss. And that's my favorite place to go.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. It's definitely on my bucket list of places to visit the next time I go to Nevis. So,
and you have to kind of go up a winding road. It's not easy to access. So, but once you get to the clearing, it's really something beautiful.
No, thank you for sharing that. It just goes to another reason why Nevis is so magical. It's history, and it's a little hidden gem right here in our backyard. Brian, we're going to take a brief break, but we'll be back to talk with you more on the other side of it. Stay tuned.
I wear a mask because I want to protect my child, but also I want to protect his classmates and his teachers.
I wear a mask because I care about the frontline workers who will have to work even harder if those around me get sick.
I wear a mask to protect my family. I wear a mask to protect you. I wear a mask because it is the right thing to do.
I wear a mask because I don't want to put any vulnerable individuals at risk, like my elderly loved ones.
I wear a mask because
we are all in this together.
I eat some veggies for dinner. Let me just check the amount of sodium in this can. Oh no, this is too much. Let me try our next option. They did say it's healthy to consume less salt. This is much better. I am salt smart.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. We continue this segment with Brian Major, one of the 2022 Nevis Tourism Ambassadors. Before the break, he told us all about this, and we are going to learn a bit more about his work as a journalist, media and content consultant. So, Brian, did you always envision yourself becoming a journalist?
No, not at all. I did not anticipate being a journalist. I never thought about it when I was growing up. I was very big into reading and education. My mother's a teacher and an educator. My wife is an educator and a teacher. And I came from a background of education, but I never thought about A, becoming a journalist, and B, becoming a travel journalist. I just kind of, after high school and college, I didn't quite know what to do. So I did think to myself that journalism, I looked at what the possibilities were, and I said, I think I can do that. I think I can become a reporter. So kind of midway through college, early in my college career, I kind of transitioned to working in journalism. And I worked here in New York and, did pretty well and freelance and did a lot of work for mainstream newspapers like the New York Post and the Brooklyn Heights Press here where I worked, and just covering regular stuff, crime and issues around the city. So I never envisioned being a travel writer, but a friend of mine knew that there was a point where I was kind of looking to try something different. And he mentioned to me that there was a magazine that covered travel for travel agents and travel advisors, a trade magazine that was looking for journalists. And he's like, you should go interview with them. So I did. I interviewed with them, and the editor says at one point, I really like your experience and I'd like you to consider being our associate cruise editor. You take a cruise every month or so as part of that job. And I kind of just looked at him and never heard of anything like that. Didn't think anybody would ever do that. And although I'd heard of Condé Nast and Travel and Leisure, I just never imagined anyone really, it's silly now, but I never thought anybody really did that for a living. So long story short, I became a travel writer, and I kind of didn't look back and wound up covering many parts of the travel industry and the Caribbean and the cruise industry as specialties. And it's been a blessing. I've been able to travel all over the world, really, and around the Caribbean, certainly. So it's been great. But it was totally unexpected.
I love the way that you tell that story. And I'm going to ask you one more related story. Where was your first cruise to?
Where was my first cruise to? I have a picture of it where I was, and for goodness sake, I cannot remember where we were going. I have a picture of me standing on the rail, and because I look really young.
You still do.
I'm not so young anymore, but we were going to Bermuda. It was a cruise to Bermuda, and it was fantastic. It really was. And both the cruise part and the Bermuda part. And I was hooked right away. And, even today I wonder, I'm one of the journalists. Some of my colleagues, they don't like cruises. Some of them don't like land travel. I like them both. I'm ready to try any kind of travel. There is almost, but I do prefer warm places. So, so the Caribbean works for me.
Yeah, it does. So we understand that in 2015, you won the Caribbean Tourism Organization's Inner Circle King Award. How did this affect your reputation in your profession? Did it validate your work in the tourism journalism niche?
How did it affect my reputation? I hope it affected it positively. I mean,
it did.
I have to check with my colleagues what my reputation is. I don't know. I don't know what they think. I hope I've done a good job. I was honored, of course, to receive that award. It was from the Caribbean Tourism Organization, of course, and it reflects the thoughts of the stakeholders and the destinations around the region. So that they thought my work was worthy of recognition, is humbling and an honor to me. I didn't get into journalism to win awards. As you as I told you, as I mentioned, I was just really kind of trying to make sure, see if I could do it or not, prove to myself whether or not I could do it. That motivated me. So to receive an award of that sort was great. And I received that award really on the strength of an article I wrote about Martinique and a place in Martinique that is a attraction, probably one of the most popular attractions in Martinique. It's called Les Savants des Esclaves. And it is a village, a working farm that owned by a Black gentleman, Martinique native named Gilbert LaRose. And it replicates a post-slavery village, post-colonial era village when locals were learning their own farm or utilizing their own farming techniques and agricultural techniques to build their society following the slavery period. And he has a museum that includes some very frank displays of what slavery was like and then the transition to post-slavery life. So it's a wonderful kind of museum that we should have more of today in the Caribbean. And I kind of profile that, and that was the basis of that award. So I was glad to tell that story.
Just listening to you, you are a magnificent storyteller, Brian. So I can only imagine not only what stories you've told before, but also the types of stories that you're going to be able to tell about Nevis as you continue to write. What, in our final moments here, could you say to the general public about Nevis in a way that, of course, would get them to see or experience, or at least want to experience, the charm that Nevis has to offer?
Again, a great question. Nevis is, this is what I tell the public. A lot of you have traveled to the Caribbean before. You've traveled to Mexico before. A lot of people have been to other destinations that in the Caribbean that attract a lot of folks. I'm not going to name names, but you know what the largest, the biggest, the ones that focus on their history and culture and music, and et cetera.
I pray that we have not lost Brian. It's a very pivotal moment. Brian, are you there? Ladies and gentlemen, it appears as though we've lost Brian. Suffice it to say that we'll do what we can to get the other part of that interview, because that statement is going to be very important. That being said, however, we are now going to go to break, but we thank you for your patience and understanding, and we'll be back with more Good Morning SKN in a moment. Stay tuned.
Do you know that common baked goods such as bread and crackers are high in salt? Get Salt Smart.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
I wear a mask because I want to protect my child, but also I want to protect his classmates and his teachers.
I wear a mask because I care about the frontline workers who will have to work even harder if those around me get sick.
I wear a mask to protect my family. I wear a mask to protect you. I wear a mask because it is the right thing to do.
I wear a mask because I don't want to put any vulnerable individuals at risk, like my elderly loved ones.
I wear a mask because
we are all in this together.
Most people consume excess salt from processed foods, such as snack foods, processed meats, instant meals and condiments.
Instead, use fresh vegetables, ground provision, fresh meats, and natural herb seasonings, just like our grandparents did, and just like you did with this soup. We are Salt Smart.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN, ladies and gentlemen. We do have Brian Major still on the line with us. And so, Brian, that final question that I have for you as one of the Nevis Tourism Ambassadors for 2022 is, of course, what you would say to the general public to help them appreciate the charm that Nevis has to offer.
Mm-hmm.
Charm, good word. Charm. Nevis is unlike other parts of the Caribbean. I often tell people the Caribbean is a lot more diverse, is more diverse than anybody really, than many people realize. And every island is different. And people are so familiar with the larger islands that attract millions of people every year. Nevis isn't like that. Nevis is, when you use the term hidden gem, sometimes that term is overused. That's really what Nevis is. As I was mentioning before, you have to connect from St. Kitts to get there. That's part of the adventure. It's easy to do, but that's part of the adventure. You're not directly accessing it. You're going to some place that is different. And when you're there, you're going to experience something that you can only really experience in Nevis. The sensation of an island with a volcanic mountain, a dormant volcanic mountain in the middle, and a rainforest and beautiful beaches and history and culture and wonderful people and great cuisine. And also I want to mention that there are some high-end restaurants in Nevis that really are fine dining experiences and amazing resorts as well. Beachside resorts and hillside resorts in the shadow of the mountain. So you are going to experience something you cannot experience elsewhere. That is why you want to go to Nevis. You will not forget it. And it really is something very special.
Brian, thank you so much. You've sold me, but you didn't really have to do that. But I'm certain you've sold so many other people just now. So it's been
also,
our pleasure.
It's really... It's awesome. It's an awesome place. So
that's great. Brian, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us this morning about your role as Nevis Tourism Ambassador for 2022 and your personal experiences as well as a travel journalist. It's been our pleasure. Hopefully this will not be our last conversation, and this is an open invitation to you, of course. When you come back to Nevis, stop by our studio. We'd be happy to speak with you in person.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. I will return to Nevis, and I'll check in with you guys. So thank you again for this opportunity. Thanks to all of you, and congratulations to my fellow Nevis ambassadors. Some really talented and wonderful folks who are very special and are great representatives of this tremendous destination. Thanks.
Thanks, Brian. All right, have a good day.
Bye-bye, guys.
With more Good Morning SKN in a moment. Stay tuned.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
Consuming foods like bananas, potatoes, and dried peas and beans, such as lentils and kidney beans, contains potassium, which helps to reduce salt in the body.
Greetings, my lovely people. I'm Chantel, residing in Taiwan. 12 hours time difference. It's nighttime here. Morning time in SK. I'm busy and on the go. However, I always manage to keep up to date with what's happening in SK. All thanks to Good Morning SKN. Good morning SKN. Ciao. Bye.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. It's time for us to loosen up on Jamie's birthday birthday.
Can I get a remote? I'm going to zap you or mute you. Where is my phone?
Earlier in today's show, we spoke with Janelle Prentice, a local entrepreneur and graphic designer. One of the most popular forms of graphics in the world are logos. They are emblems or symbols used to aid and promote the identification and recognition of a brand. Well, today, the birthday boy, Jamie, and I are going to see which one of us is better at identifying the logos of popular brands around the world. So let's begin. It's your birthday.
I don't even want to ask these people if they're going to place bets on who's going to win here, you know?
You know what? Since it's birthday, I am going to allow him to have a win. On your birthday.
Adidas.
You got it. You got it.
Yeah.
You got it. You got it. Adidas.
And that's you.
Oh, Jordans.
Asics? Amazon.
Oh my God.
Come on, guys. You really look at that backdrop. How could I see the arrow at the bottom? I get a pass.
American.
I ought to know what that is. I've seen that before. I'm going to say something shameful here because I know I'm going to get it wrong. Anyway, Spotify? Actually, I was going to say Teletubby, but anyway, I know it's not that.
I really don't know that one, so yeah, I have to be like, yeah, you know when you see something, you know it, but you don't know it?
Android, yeah. You know you don't know. So it's your turn.
Arm and Hammer.
That was easy.
Baking soda. Come on, birthday boy. It rhymes with birthday.
The headphones. Dr. Dre beats. I have no idea.
Look at you.
No.
You're smart.
Okay. Wow, got it.
Look at you.
Okay. Association.
Dominoes.
This is so funny. Gatorade.
Google. Shucks.
Honda. Okay, we're flashing through these things now.
KFC. Everybody loves a little. Jamie.
What is that?
Easy. Come on. You played with them as kids. You built stuff with them.
Legos?
Oh, there you go.
I'm getting cues here. All right, that works.
I gotta work on you with on the birthday, you know? McDonald's, my favorite place to get fries.
You guys gotta be kidding me here. A miniature Rubik's Cube. Which I'm
gonna steal from him. Intel.
Yes, please do.
Not Intel? Oh my God, I'm ashamed.
Windows. Microsoft.
But isn't Intel part of Microsoft? No. Oh man.
Whose turn is this?
Yours.
Motorola.
NBC. Just like me and Jamie on his birthday.
You are something else. Nike. It would be a shame if I didn't get that correct, by the way.
Pepsi. Come on.
PlayStation?
Of course.
Okay.
Pringles.
Who wouldn't know that face? Stay off the salt.
I'm gonna.
All right, Puma.
Shell. According to Dr. Chen, I'm going to stay off the
first time that I noticed that it looks like a shell.
Why are all your logos missing something?
Right.
Taco Bell. Yo quiero un taco.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Me gusta.
Yo hablo un poquito español. Target.
Daihatsu.
Toyota.
I apologize.
Wow. Volkswagen.
And I said that so confidently.
Yes, you did. Such confidence.
Oh my gosh. Are the scores in? Should we roll the song?
Looks like we're our own personal logos here. All right.
I know. Kortensia, the birthday boy Jamie.
We're going to take bets here on who do you think won. Hashtag Team K, hashtag Team J. And the scores are in. Oh, you guys are something else. Thank you so much.
Happy
Thank you so much.
birthday Jamie, he won today. I think because it is his birthday. He got 13, I got 11. So congrats. Happy birthday to you.
You guys are something else.
Happy
if you see what I'm seeing.
Thank you. Happy birthday to my dear co-host.
Put this down. Oh.
Happy birthday to you. Now you gotta blow out your invisible candles while you make a wish.
I will. I wish that you guys could see this. Thank you so much, Virginia. Rest of you. Reads happy birthday, Jamie. Guys, thank you. This is so great. I appreciate it so much.
And Jamie, do not toss your water bottle, okay?
So funny, I won't do that.
So on behalf of us here,
you gotta go back and sit. Yeah.
So on behalf of us here at Studio 327, happy birthday. Enjoy it to the max, okay?
I will. Thank you so much, guys.
So I'm gonna hold this one for you until,
yeah.
And plus, look, healthy stuff. So we're just following all the healthy cues that we got throughout the week.
I appreciate that so much. Thank you.
Don't cry.
I'm not crying. Are you kidding? I got so much sweet here. I'm glad Iceline isn't here. She did say I got to pass,
She
right?
did say for a little sweet today.
I'm going to fill the bottle up in there with water.
Yes, with water.
That.
Yeah.
Naeem, you and I are going to compete as to who drinks the most water, right? Just kidding. Naeem is one of our tech guys who are doing a great job with the rest of the staff. So guys, thank you so much. I do appreciate this. And on that note, we're going to go to break. I'm not going to eat cake on break, but we're going to go to break.
We'll be right
See you
back
in a
after
moment.
this.
All right.
When growing your savings, where you save matters more than you think. Dare to compare and see for yourself why you should start saving and investing at First Federal Credit Union. You don't have to settle for cents. Let your money make sense. Reap a higher return by stashing your cash in a high-yield savings account or term deposit and earn up to 4% interest on your money. At First Federal, we say yes.
Consuming excess salt can lead to heart attack, high blood pressure, and even stroke, and other health-related conditions such as kidney disease.
Has anyone ever touched you here, here, or here? Well, these are actually bad touches, not good ones. And so, if anyone ever touches you in these areas or anywhere else that makes you uncomfortable, you must say no, then go and tell. Say it with me. Say no, then go and tell.
This message was brought to you by the Department of Gender Affairs in collaboration with Probation and Child Protection Services, the Ministry of Health, and the Pan American Health Organization.
Consuming foods like bananas, potatoes, and dried peas and beans, such as lentils and kidney beans, contains potassium, which helps to reduce salt in the body.
Everyone is encouraged to adopt a healthy and positive approach to daily life. Here are a few friendly reminders.
When you go to the local market and food vendors, remember to maintain a social distance of 6 feet or 2 meters apart. And always wear your mask.
Always keep your hands clean. Wash your hands with soap and water or use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer.
When dining, choose restaurants with staggered seating. This will lower the risk of transmission.
If you have a fever, cough, or other respiratory symptoms, please wear a mask and seek medical care immediately. Rest at home and do not visit the food vendors, local markets, or restaurants.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. Swimsuits are items of clothing designed to be worn by people engaging in a water-based activity or water sports, such as swimming, diving, or surfing, and that's why you're not seeing me in one. Different types may be worn by men, women, and even children. Swimming is a big part of our life here in the Federation, so much so that there is an annual cross-channel swim between the islands. Well, we are going to hop into our time machine to look at the evolution of swimsuits for men and women over the decades, and I know this is going to be so much fun.
Yep.
All right, so let's take a look.
So we'll start with the 1800s. Swimsuits were typically called bathing gowns. Wow, like nightgowns. And they were, wow, look at that. I just made a correlation without realizing. And they were long dresses that didn't show much skin. They were commonly made of wool.
Hang on.
That is a Drowning device.
You gotta hold that shot. You gotta hold that shot.
That is a Drowning device.
I swear, if I go to town right now, you realize there's like back in the 1800s, people were more covered going to the beach than they are going to town. I'm kidding. Yeah. sort of not. In any event.
Oh my God, that looks like a drowning device. Because imagine water.
I know, right?
Swimming with the fishes. Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh my word.
Look at that.
Yeah.
They were so covered.
Oh.
Oh, so this is in the late 1800s and the early 1900s. Bathing shoes were a popular accessory of bathing suits. And these shoes protected the feet from broken glass and shells, and they were commonly made of twisted straw or felt, and they had laces. So they were bathing shoes.
They almost look like ballerina shoes.
I don't understand. Why would you go to swim?
But we do have
shoes.
But we do have shoes now that we go to the beach in.
Yeah, you go to the beach, but you go. They were in the water in the shoes in that shop.
Yeah, but we do go into the water with those shoes too for persons
to protect
from
shells. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I forget you don't go in the water much.
It just seems counterintuitive to me, but anyway, I get you. Depends on where you swim, because I know our beaches are nice and cool and clean generally. So
we are.
That's
in the early 1900s, a woman's swimming look probably included also a bathing cap to protect the hairstyles. But it doesn't look like much protection.
Hang on. You're talking about much protection? You see right there that she's covered literally from head to toe.
Yeah, but the bathing cap,
I love
her hair is still out, if you realize. So that means she's just going to sit in the water and let the water touch hair.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I tell you, the way that we've progressed, you go to the beach in more clothes than you get regularly.
Yeah.
Look at that. Wow. All right, so sailor-inspiring bathing suits became popular in the early 1900s. Imagine that. They're only missing the boat.
That's all. To sail off.
Just saying, right? Hey, you go out to sea, you're already dressed for the water anyway, just to go take a swim. It's amazing. Early 1900s. At least they were getting shorter. They were showing more skin.
Shorter.
Well, speaking of shorter.
What? Bathing suits were all...
This has got to be the one around 1910.
Bathing coats. Why coats though? This is a drowning device. This is a drowning device, I say. Unless the rain, you know what? The coat might work well for when it's raining, but no, when it's raining, the water is better. You want the water on your skin and not on the coat. Drowning device.
I love the way that we're getting into the fashion era, the modern era, because look at the shoes she's wearing. That might explain why, when people are modeling swimsuits or whatever competitions, they wear the most ridiculous shoes. I'm so sorry, I'm just saying it. Who goes to the beach in
I
heels?
hope she wasn't swimming in those heels. People still do, until today.
Interesting stuff.
Believe it or not.
Interesting stuff. So we're going to around 1910. I'm going to check the shoes if I can. Around 1910, swimsuits became shorter and more form-fitting. And they called it the limb liberating swimsuit.
Showing the legs.
It's rated LLS, people.
Yeah.
You're liberating your limbs. So you're showing, I guess this is when, and look at the man. You know what? Really, this is so very interesting.
Why is he even in the picture? He almost looked like the leader of the Rockettes because they look like rockets at the beach.
The funny part of it is that, we're talking about International Women's Day and liberation and all this stuff. And the women are there in the swimsuits. And look at him. He's like, I'm not showing anything. I'm just here with my hat for you, but you're right. He does look like one of the rocket leaders or something.
In the 1920s, swimsuits necklines got lower. Deep boat necks or V-necks became more popular, and armholes on suits got bigger.
Oh, wow. No, not the armhole. I beg you. Not that.
Now you can show your arm. Now you can show your
realize,
arm.
I mean, it starts slowly and then it comes in like a flood.
Yeah.
We
Arm
started
hole.
with our ankles covered. Hey, we even covered our heads.
Yeah.
But before you know it, we had limb liberating suits, and oh no, watch it. The armholes got bigger.
Yep. Look at that. They look like short dive suits.
They do, actually.
Yeah.
They do. This is funny.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so throughout the 20s and early 30s, men's swimsuits were simple and typically straight. Why does he look like he's in prison?
I know, that's a prison suit.
It's like Grandpa went to prison. This is his first time out, and he got to keep the clothes.
I know. Call the police. We found him.
Grandpa's taking a walk.
Oh my God.
Man. This is so funny. This is so funny.
Word.
So the swimsuits definitely changed. Too.
Yeah, they have.
Looks
So
like-
we have warped into the 90s.
Yeah, it seems that way. Like we've progressed into the 90s.
Not only were they colorful and
Okay.
funky, the cuts, the armholes, the bellies.
This was the
bust.
90s? This looks like the early 80s.
Just take it back. This is the 90s.
You know, the 80s were.
Take it back.
It's the 90s. Yeah.
Take
yeah,
it
yeah.
back.
Look at that.
Plus,
And they were different too. Yeah.
Plus, the era that some of us were born in was funky and
Oh
cool.
boy.
Yeah.
This is like Baywatch. Yeah.
Ooh, look, tankinis became a new thing. Look at that. So for those of you who don't want to show too much skin in the belly area, yeah.
Where's the armhole?
It's
There
right
is none.
there.
You realize it's non-existent.
Yes, the armhole is right there. It's just really huge and cut.
Oh, got you. So it
in
got
half.
that big.
Armhole.
Got it.
Yeah.
We're progressing. Nowadays, swimwear and beachwear are much more diverse and inclusive in style. The National Emergency. And let's see what this is.
Mm-hmm.
Swimwear. Yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
Hello. What am I seeing here? You realize there's the accessory of the bag?
Yeah, bags.
I was almost going to say.
And shoes that they're going to take off before they enter the water.
But you realize I started with the National Emergency Management Agency, so I guess we're going to make an announcement about swimsuits and what not to wear. or are these supposed to be walking disasters? I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Yeah, but the accessories. So yeah, the shoes were more practical and everything else became sensible.
Yep.
So that people can go to the beach looking more modern.
And stylish.
And when they're done with the beach, they just walk through town like that. Have you seen? Yeah.
What a cover up.
Alrighty, so apparently we have a notice from the National Emergency.
So the National Emergency Management Agency and Nevis Disaster Management Department will be testing the emergency broadcast system today, Thursday, March 10th, 2022. So just be aware of this as it will prove to be necessary in the case of emergencies.
We're having a test.
Yeah. So look out for it. Yeah.
Part of the emergency management system.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
And it's that time, Kortensia.
Yep. Thank you for joining us on Jamie's birthday
There you go
and
again.
every
I got the
other day
remote.
of the week.
Yeah, well, exactly.
I just had to highlight his birthday. I have to give him as much shout out as possible.
Oh, I'm going to
on this
get you
day,
back. I'm going to get you back. I almost played a prank on you today. I'm going to get you back. I was going to be like, I'm not
His
coming
prank
to the show.
was not going to work.
I was gonna call out
going to show up and out.
Alicia and be like, I'm not coming today. You got to host the whole show by yourself.
And I would have been fine.
Yes, you would.
Where is your confidence in your co-host?
It's there. Anyway, let's get back to the show. Follow us, please, at Studio 327 Inc. on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.
Twitter.
We're on Twitter as well.
Snapchat.
TikTok, like the time is going. All right, TikTok. At Studio 327 Inc. Like, subscribe, and of course, follow.
For more content. We also ask that you leave us a comment. Remember to tell us what's in your cup, and please remember to keep sending in the photos of the sunrise, or if you can even get the sunset. And tell us what other topics and guests you'd like to see next.
And tell us when you'd like to see Kortensia taking a shot of the killer bee in the crawl that you talked about earlier in the show. Yeah? Maybe
Crawl back to my abode.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So guys, this is where we get to say goodbye to you, but thank you for joining us, of course, for another edition of Good Morning SKN right here on Studio 327. We appreciate you, and we'll see you tomorrow at 8 when we get to do this again.
Yeah.
Have a great rest of the day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.